All right, guys. Hope you all are doing great. Today, the Ausom scooter has finally arrived. I'm actually excited to check this thing out. Heard a lot of great things about it, but I'm going to be digging into it myself and giving you guys the gist of it. So let's get into it. As far as packaging goes, it's pretty well packaged. You can already see warranty card, user manual. Let's put these aside. Get into it. Got some accessories here, extra things. All right. And yeah, should be pretty straightforward. Let me go ahead and pull it out and show it to you. Okay, so just got it fresh out the box. And from what I see, I'm actually liking a lot of the structure of it. I'll get into that later, but just to show you what comes with it, manual, warranty card. They give you some, decent gloves here, 2 Allen keys for tools. Obviously the charger and these rubber covers that I don't know what are for yet, but we'll look at the manual and we'll see where they go. So let's begin installing. So I removed all of the bubble wrap around it that was kind of blocking the view. Before I go ahead and install everything, I just wanted to give you a quick look at it. Just initial impression of it. It looks very, very beefy, very well built. A lot of steel construction here, not just aluminum. So it is quite heavy, but that means durability. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and install the handlebar with the gauge and the light and just show it to you once it's all said and done. But yeah, really liking the initial look of it so far, and we'll get into it after I install everything. All right, just a quick note, when you put these on, it's held on by 4 bolts. These brackets are to the front, and it's advised via the manual to bring the wires to the front. Then I assume we'll install this over here. So let me finish tightening up these and go to the next step. All right, so just installed the screen. It's held on by 2 bolts over here. The next thing, I'm just tightening up the light. It's held on by also 2 bolts here with a little wedge or spacer that goes under the bolts that squishes the metal of the light bracket. So that's it. I guess we're almost done. Also, I figured out what these are for. They're to cover the ugly hex nuts on there. So I actually like that. It's pretty cool. And it makes it a bit safer so you don't scratch anything. Or yeah, I'm gonna use 2 hands for this and knock them on there. Actually, I just used them, and I think they're best to be used only on the rear because I like the look of it with the nuts, it's not a big deal. Yeah, so let's get into it. All right, guys, so I'm about to take it out for a spin. Just before I go ahead and do that, I'm going to show you how it starts. So I really like this LCD screen. You have to hold this on-off button for 3 seconds, and there's 2 ways you can start it. So it comes with this NFC card, kind of like a Tesla, and this is your security card after you turn it on, and that's what activates the scooter and starts it up. But don't worry, I understand, just in case you lose this or you forget it, you can also start this with a password that you can change and customize it. I think it's a 4-digit password. But anyways, I like also the fact that you can change the modes from eco to sport to race, and obviously they all change the characteristics of the scooter. The light is quite powerful. The same button that you change the modes with, if you hold it, it gives you the LED light, and it is quite bright, more than enough to get you through the night driving, turning it off. But yeah, just before we head out, I did say that it's quite beefy, but I do like this design, the suspension design, and it's just quite interesting. It's got a full spring and shock setup. I'm not sure if that's adjustable, but it does have teeth there, and it does seem to be adjustable. So looks great. Front disc brake, pretty good. Rear disc brake, and if the rear suspension is the same, it's got a full shock and spring system on the back. Let's turn on the light for a second before we go, just to show you. Oh, turned it off. Let's turn it on again. I pushed the wrong button. So let's turn it on. There we go. And that turns on the tail light. But one thing I really like about this is the fact that just like a motorcycle, it has indicators. So you can actually tell people which direction you're going. And I really appreciate that. It's very cool. And just like a motorcycle, left for left, right for right. And then when you click in the middle, it cancels them both out. So let's do that. Let's cancel them. There we go. Yeah. So it came with the left brake being the front brake, which I didn't like. So I just switched the levers. I put the left on the right and the right on the left, and now they're accurate. This is the front brake and this is the rear brake. So yep, it looks good. I did notice that it's quite adjustable, which we'll talk about while driving. So it's height adjustable from here, which is really awesome. And I like the folding mechanism here. It's quite beefy. It really is. It's very solid. It's not like some scooters which I've driven that are, you know, quite sketchy, I would say. You feel like it can snap in case you've had a hard impact or nothing. But this is quite solid, and you have to take your time and screw it in there till it's snug, and that's very safe. So you see how much it takes to kind of lock it in, and that just becomes one solid unit. Now there's nothing you can do to, you know, break this, and I like that. So before we head out, looking at it, like I said, it looks beefy and all that, but I really do like this kind of design. It's kind of like an old school but off-road design in a way that's also very capable on-road. But I do like the adjustable suspension that's over here. It's pretty interesting. It's a full shock and spring setup, so it's not just that way in the front, but it's also that way on the rear. And yeah, you got tail lights, you have blinkers, which I really like on this. I like the fact that you can kind of indicate where you're going. So you got, like a motorcycle, you have the left, right, and then when you click in the middle, you cancel. It has the horn as well, so listen to this. It's pretty loud actually, so let's take it out for a spin and see how it rides. All right, so we started driving, and initial feel, it actually feels really, really good. I like the fact that it's a capable off-road scooter, so you can kind of go onto the grass on and off without worrying too much. Obviously a little bit more bouncy, but let's say these are big bumps and it handles them very well, to be honest. So that's a great thing about this, is that you don't really need to worry about terrain so much. Obviously you don't need to go to, you know, you don't need to be off-roading like a crawler or anything where there's too much stones, but it'll hold its own on a medium to rough terrain, let's just say. I think the tires also help with that, because they're not really only smooth tires, they're quite, you know, threaded tires, and that makes a big difference with the terrain as well. I will say the speed is set to be 28 miles an hour. It's actually faster than that, especially downhill, which I'll show you right now. It can do 30 plus miles an hour, which is pretty fast for an e-scooter like this. Let's give it a go. Yeah, we're already at 30 miles an hour. Man, this is pretty quick. The horn is quite funny, but it's actually pretty loud. It's an electric horn. I will say on the uphills, it's pretty good too. It's on race right now. I keep it on race. And I'm going to switch it to eco, and I'm going to switch it to sport so you guys can see the difference in speed. But if you really want to go fast, I would just keep it in race. Let's go on the side road there. All right. Let's get a little bit of off-roading. All right. Yeah. The grass can be quite slippery when wet, so have to watch out on those. It's definitely quite convenient to have something like this when you're in the city or in the suburbs. I live a bit further out, but it's still fun to use where I live. But I can imagine it's actually very, very useful if you live in an area pretty similar to this right here. You don't need much, and you just push a button and you're ready to go. So again, I really do like the convenience of the e-scooters. I'm becoming more and more a fan of them. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of EV stuff, but for things like this, like, I like both. I like my gas-powered stuff and I like my EV stuff. Everything serves a purpose, right? And again, if I was on a gas scooter right now, I'd be annoying everybody here in the buildings. I'd be annoying, you know, people sitting on their balconies with babies that need to sleep, or people that need to study or whatever. But on this thing, nobody even knows I'm here, and I'm having a good time. All right, so when it comes to mileage, they do say that this thing does 44 miles. Now, obviously, with all these things, they vary, you know, and when they do these tests, they usually do them on a flat leveled surface. Now, no inclines and stuff like that, no braking. So yeah, but I do kind of, you know, believe it. It's just with all these things, even if they don't live up to expectation, don't worry about it. It's really a very controlled test that they do once they make these, you know, tests. And the other thing is that the motor is really, really strong. It's 800 watt, and it just feels like it's got a lot of torque to it, because it is quite a heavy scooter. Like when you unbox it and you feel it, it is quite heavy and beefy, and the motor does have some go to it. Like, it accelerates pretty nice. So yeah, that's something that I really like about it. Okay, now that we've driven it in race mode probably the whole time, let's go back down to sport, and then we'll do eco. So right now we're on sport. Let's give it a try. I mean, initially you don't really feel much of a difference, but you definitely know that the top speed is going to be much lower. So windy. Yeah, so let's do one lower. Let's do eco. And eco, as the word means, it's probably where you're going to get the most battery life off of. It's just you're going to be quite limited. So right now I think it limits me to 13, 14 miles an hour, 15 downhill. So, well, we're hitting 18 right now, so not too bad. I will say you kind of do need to be careful on these things, because they do get quite wobbly at high speed, and especially depending on the terrain. So I would say some experience is advised if you want to do it in race mode, but again, you can just put it in eco and let it be, and that will kind of help you out and limit it. Heck, for some people 32 miles an hour might not be enough speed, so for me it's pretty good on a scooter. That was 32 miles an hour downhill, which is pretty neat for an EV scooter out of the box, you know? All right, guys, so that's it for today's video on the Ausom scooter. Overall, I had a great experience with it, good fun, and I can say that I'm very happy to be adding it to my collection. So see you guys next time. Ciao.